I think I'm live. Hi, it's Rosie again. How are you going? Guess what? Yeah, look, the last week has been the most painful, horrible week of my life ever. And pain and I are not friends. So on Anzac Day morning, so Monday the 25th, I woke up and I was in so much pain. So I've had a fair few injuries in my life, and I hurt my back a long time ago. I think I've mentioned it on the broadcast before. And last Easter, I had an unfortunate accident where, I was dragged along behind a boat on a rope on a bitumen road for about a metre. It was only a metre. But can I tell you, oh my God, I went into emergency and it was horrible. And the aftermath of it was that I couldn't sit down for about 6 weeks, I think, before I could really sit. And I was on a lot of strong painkillers, some of which I still have, because I don't like pills, but I tell you what, I certainly like these ones because I'm not a fan of pain either. So when I woke up on Monday morning, my back felt like the old injury was back and the leg hurt again, like from the hip all the way to my little toe, which was not a pleasant experience. Now, I'm not sure what set it off, but one of the YouTube videos that I watched a while back, I remember them saying that when you're on an extended fast, sometimes it brings up the pain from your previous injuries so that you can work your way through it. And I'm thinking, don't like pain, and I'm not sure what I gain out of feeling it again today. And I'm really not a fan. I did battle through that day because, I thought maybe it'll settle down. I ended up having to lie down all day because I couldn't sit, and I couldn't properly lie down. I sort of had to lie at the angle and just couldn't get comfortable all day. It was horrible. And I had to make a decision to sort of see how I'd go. And I thought, well, I'll battle through and see what the morning brings. And I got hardly any sleep because the pain kept me awake. I couldn't lie down in bed for love nor money. It was, sort of try to sort of half sit up and, see if I could maybe stretch things, and nothing worked. It was really odd. So I decided, my husband came home Monday night, and I sort of told him all about, how awful it felt. And I ended up spending most of the night. I did take a painkiller that night thinking that I'd sleep, actually. It was the night before that when it sort of started aching a little bit before it was really bad. I thought I'd, not do much about it. But I took a painkiller, not a strong one, just something mild, thinking it might knock me out. And I couldn't sleep for love nor money. I thought if I keep, doing what I'm doing, I'm just going to wake him up, which wasn't fair on him. So I ended up moving myself to the sofa, where I sort of almost got a little bit comfortable at one stage, not very. I finally fell asleep about 3 o'clock in the morning, and just the pain was excruciating. So I thought, I'm going to have to stop my fast so that I can take the strong painkillers, because before I take the strong painkillers, I have to have something in my stomach. And I decided to break my fast about 5:30 in the morning. 5:30, yeah, about 5:30, with a vegetable soup. I thought that would be easy enough on the stomach and I'd be fine. So I had the soup and waited about 5-10 minutes. I felt all right. And then I swallowed the first painkiller, and that was it. Up it all came. So I thought, oh, this isn't any good. And I do that when I'm in a lot of pain. I get to the point where I can't take it anymore and everything just goes. So I took the other painkiller and just went off to bed, and I think I slept for 5 hours, which I've never slept during the day, but yeah, it knocked me out for 5 hours. And I wasn't very useful to anybody yesterday. I had to deal with a few things, and my way of dealing with it was, can we talk tomorrow? That was the best that I could do, because I was not going to make sense to anyone, because, strong painkillers and brain function, aren't best friends either. And then I took more painkillers last night as I went to bed. They didn't put me to sleep, though. But they did sort out the pain somewhat. And this morning I could actually sit. So because I haven't worked for 2 days on the things that I normally work on, I've spent the day catching up. And that's why this broadcast is late, because I really had to deal with a few things that I'd promised people I'd do. So here I am. So what's the game plan? I pretty much ended up having lunch yesterday, just a small lunch, and then I had a small tea. Lunch was but that's all right. And this morning I had a late breakfast so that I didn't actually break the fast until lunchtime, and then I'll have another meal about 4:30, 5 o'clock, just something small, and it'll be fine. I'm just going to do intermittent fasting for the next week or so, because one thing that I had planned on not doing on an extended fast is to exercise a lot, because I don't see the value of pushing my body more than I think it might be capable of. I mean, happy to do the work, but not happy to overdo things. So I'm going to have to do a bit more exercise and, get back into the full physio for my back. And I'll probably end up having to see a physiotherapist about sorting out my leg, because it's still, I have a hard time walking for a long time without setting it off. I still can't figure out what I did that was overdoing it, because even though I was doing things, I wasn't actually using my legs a lot. It's just really weird. And I didn't do anything to pull my back. Normally it takes a lot to put my back out. So I'm going to have to do the physio, and I'll probably end up doing a lot more exercises and maybe even doing the sauna. Since I'm going to be eating now, I can do the sauna, because I'll be getting, a few more vitamins and minerals into my body every day. So it's not like it's going to be a huge problem. So yeah, game plan, intermittent fasting, probably do, I'll aim for a 16-8. I think, 16 hours fasting and an 8-hour eating window at this stage, only because I need to be able to have the energy to actually, and everything's in our mind. So I need to have in my mind, I've had enough food to exercise. I have enough nutrients to go into the sauna. I'm on top of things. So that's my goal, looking after how I'm going to do this. I think it's always a problem when you ignore life and what it's telling you. So I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to listen to my body, and I'm trying to figure out things out. So how do I feel about having given up so early? Well, I haven't given up. I'm still sticking to a plan. I plan to do another fast, probably 2 or 3 days. I'd suggest only 2 days at this stage, but just do fasting on a regular basis, to do a full water fast for a couple of days, probably twice a month, and do the intermittent fasting in between and build up my health, because that's the important bit. I'm looking forward to getting the other shot of all the vitamins and minerals on Tuesday. It's the highlight of my week, really. Now, I have had some good news. Our rules are being relaxed, so on Friday we'll probably go out to the pub and celebrate, because we're allowed back in the pub. We're not pub people, but there's this lovely Irish pub here in Mandurah. It's Murphy's Irish Pub. Is a shout out to them. Oh, love going there. So doing an intermittent fast, it's actually okay to go down there and enjoy. Usually by the time it gets around to dessert, I don't have the room left, which bugs me every time, because I want to try one of their desserts, but no can do. So we'll be going there and enjoying a nice meal out, and we don't have to wear a face nappy, so that's good. I quite like the idea of going out like normal people do. It's all exciting. I've also found out I can now leave the state and come home if I want. It's the coming home if I want would I want to? I guess I've got nowhere else to go. I'll have to come home, which is kind of a bugger moment, really. But I can leave. I can go away on a holiday. I'm not stuck here anymore. And I know there's a fair few people who've left the state permanently because they just didn't want to live here anymore. So there's lots of things happening. Apparently we're over the peak numbers of the thing, so things should be getting back to normal. Fear factor on that one for me is 0, because, well, we die from the moment we're born. I've had a lot of dreams about my mum lately, and it turns out it's just confirming what I've been thinking about lately, which is, I need to get back to certain routines. I've let a lot of routines go, and I need to establish those routines again, which I think is a great thing. We all need to have balance. When I was a teenager, I rebelled against routine, and I swore I would never have routine. And I've been fighting that thing, that promise to myself ever since, because I think routine's a good thing. You don't have to make your whole day so regimented that you have no leeway for anything. But a few things are really good, and if everybody else knows, look, on a Saturday morning, don't bother coming round because she's going to be busy doing XYZ. And, on a Thursday night, this is what she's doing. I think that's a good thing. And you've got something to look forward to all week, or dread, depending on what it is you're doing. So that's what I want to do. Get back into routine and manage my time better. And what I have learned over the last week and I stayed disciplined with this. I was really disciplined. And I learned that, hunger didn't break my fast. It wasn't hunger. I was still not hungry. I could have kept going easily. My body wasn't crying out for food. No one was sort of, sending wafty food smells my way to make me eat. I made a calculated choice. I looked at the options, and the options weren't very good in my opinion. And I learnt that just in centering myself for that week, and in really taking the time to consider what's what and what's important to me, I've I've actually grown a lot in myself, which seems really odd to say because it's only a week. So what's the change? And I think the change is just being happy with what I want to do. And I'm pretty excited to be getting back to work, so I'll be probably burning a truckload of candles next week to get back to work. Because, someone else has to make the decision whether that's possible or not. And I really want to get back to work. And it'll be balanced. And that's the point. I think that's what this week's been about. Even though it's been really painful, I've still managed to survive. I could have survived easily if I'd been eating and taking painkillers. Probably wouldn't have been anywhere near as bad if I'd taken painkillers. I also know that I'm still the queen of stupid decisions. Look, let's face facts. I am. It's what I do. I think anybody who says that they make perfect decisions at all times and have never put a foot wrong, they're either delusional or just kidding themselves, because we all make mistakes. It's what you do with them that matters. And if it's a mistake that's hurt someone else, apologise. It's all you can do. See what you can do to make it right. I'm not sure I've ever made one of those mistakes that's really hurt someone else. Oh, probably as a teenager when I was totally ignorant. I'm only partially ignorant now, so that's good. That's a development. It's growing up. Might even grow up one day. Although that'll be really boring. I might not grow up. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I just thought I'd give this update as to why I haven't been here. And I did weigh myself. I got on the scales. So on the 25th, I was 79.4. On the 26th, I was 78.9. And today I'm 79.3. So it didn't make a huge difference. And you expect to put on weight after you've done a water fast for that long. So it doesn't surprise me. Actually, I was surprised because I thought I'd be back at 81 or so kilos. I'll see how I go over the next week as I'm refeeding and, settling into the intermittent fasting. At one stage, I was doing intermittent fasting for 40 hours, do a 40-hour fast and then break your fast, and then, 6 o'clock. So you ate between 10 and 6, and the next fast would start at 6 that night. I found that one a bit hard going. I might go back to it if I feel up to it. But for now, I'm just going to leave it at, the 16-8. That should be enough. And if all else fails, no. Got no idea if all else fails. It is what it is. And I hate that saying, I really do. And sometimes you just have to resort to the things that you hate. And yeah, it is what it is. I'm not going to take a magic potion or, buy a magic pill to take all the fat off, because that doesn't solve the problem, because the fat's only a symptom. And, my overeating is only a symptom. Everything I've got is a symptom of something else, and I've got to find out what that something else is. So I'm going to keep trying. Could make $1 squillion if I find the formula and I write a book. There's that. Anyway, definitely going to go now in my happy bubble, dream about this book I'm going to write to solve everybody's problems. What a dream. Have a great night, and hopefully I'll see you in the morning to update you on how I went. Well, I still need those painkillers because it feels like I definitely have to have another dose. Anyway, catch you guys. Shine your happy bubble. See ya.